Most people who want to buy or sell houses in Seattle don't reach out to an agent because they don't know what's going to happen when they reach out. They don't want to be sold to. They don't want to feel obligated. They don't want to end up on someone's call list for the next 6 months. And I understand all of that, trust me. So I want to tell you exactly what happens when you contact me, from the first message to the first conversation. I've talked to a lot of people who say some version of this. I've been wanting to reach out, but I didn't know what I was getting myself into. And that's fair. Most people's experience with real estate agents involves being put into a drip campaign, getting a ton of emails, handed off to a team member they've never asked to talk to, or given a 45-minute pitch before the agent bothered to ask even a single question about their situation or what they're looking for. That's not how I work. And since I can't prove that in advance, I'm going to show you exactly what my process looks like so you can decide before you ever reach out whether it sounds like something worth trying for yourself. Step 1, the initial message. It doesn't matter how you contact me. Text, email, the form on my website, a comment, or DM on this channel here on YouTube. I respond to every one of them, usually within a few hours during the day and same day if it comes in at night. The first message I send back is not a script. It's not great to hear from you. Let me schedule a call. It's a single question. What's your situation and what are you trying to figure out? Because I genuinely don't know where you are in the process. You might be 90 days from a decision. You might be 24 hours from needing to write an offer. You might just have a question that you haven't been able to get answered anywhere else and not online. All of those are different conversations, and I want to know which one we're having before we even start talking or before we set up a call. Step 2, the first call. Most first calls run about 15 to 30 minutes. I'll ask you 3 questions first. What's your timeline? What makes most sense for you? What does success look like for you? And what's the one thing you're most worried about in this process? Those 3 questions give me most of what I need to actually be useful for you. Then I'll tell you what I'm seeing in the market for your specific situation, not the general market, but your situation and what you're looking for. What's realistic at your price point in the neighborhoods you're considering and where there's opportunity right now in the market, because we track that every single week. And we want to know where the landmines are, what I'd be thinking about if I were in your position. And if it sounds like something I can genuinely help you with, I'll tell you what the next steps look like. If it doesn't sound like a good fit, for example, like commercial real estate or maybe buying land, if you need something I don't specialize in, I'll tell you that directly, and I can typically point you towards someone who is better suited to help you in those scenarios. If you've had a first call with a real estate agent before and it felt like a sales pitch rather than a real conversation, I want you to drop a comment. I hear this constantly, and it's a big part of why I made this video. I want to know what the experience was like from your end. So let me know in the comments below. Step 3, if you're a buyer. If we decide to work together after the first call, here's what happens on the side of buying. I'll send you a short questionnaire. It takes about 5 minutes and covers your must-haves, your deal breakers, your financing situation, and your realistic timeline. Then we set up a more formal consultation, typically over Zoom, that runs about 45 minutes to an hour. And in that conversation, we're going to talk about everything that you're looking for in the property. What are all of your must-haves? What are non-negotiables to you? I'll walk you through the process of buying in Seattle from start to finish and what the strategy behind the buying side looks like, what to expect in the neighborhoods you're considering, what the competition actually looks like in your price range, and what the common mistakes to avoid are, and exactly how I work on your behalf from search through handing you the keys. By the end of that conversation, you'll have a clear picture of what working together looks like and what we're working on, but there's no pressure and there's no deadline for you. I work on your timeline. Step 4, if you're a seller. If you're thinking about selling, the first call sounds a little bit different. I'll ask you what you know about your home's current value, and then I'll tell you what I actually think it's worth, backed by the most recent 90 days of closed sales in your neighborhood for your property type. Now, that might not be on the first call because I may need to do some research to give you a really accurate number. And that's not to impress you with data, because you're making a financial decision and you deserve real numbers, not a number designed to just win or buy your listing. A lot of agents will do that, so be aware they'll actually buy the business, telling you a much higher number than what it's actually worth just so you hire them. If we decide to move forward together, I'll schedule a walkthrough of the property and give you a specific pricing recommendation with different pricing strategies and the reasoning behind those. And I'll walk you through exactly how I would market the home, including things like professional photography, videography, staging, digital marketing, advertising, and the review process when we get offers. I'm not going to send you a 40-page PDF of market data that nobody actually reads. I'm not going to tell you your home is worth more than it is just so you hire me to sell it, because that will put us both in a very painful conversation 6 weeks later about reducing the price. I'm not going to hand you off to someone else after our first meeting without telling you what's happening, and I'm not going to disappear between the conversations. Here's the thing. Most of what frustrates people about working with real estate agents is the communication. And I'm by no means perfect, but if you reach out, you'll hear back from me in the same day. That's the standard I hold myself to, and that doesn't change throughout the process. What's the question you'd most want answered in a first conversation with an agent? I'm curious, put it in the comments and I'll answer it here, or I'll make a video specifically about it. The questions people are most hesitant to ask are usually the most important ones. If you're 90 days from a decision and just starting to understand the process of buying or selling, now you know what reaching out actually looks like. If you're 30 days out and starting to have conversations with agents, I'd be glad to be one of them. Use me as a benchmark, or maybe you'll find that I'm the right agent fit for you. If you're 3 months in and it's not going the way you expected, reach out anyway. That conversation is free. There's no obligation attached to it, and we don't have to work together, but at least you'll have another opinion. If you're thinking about buying or selling in Seattle and you want that first conversation, my contact information is below. Now you know exactly what happens when you use it, and it's free to you. Again, no obligation to work together. You can book a call with me today. This channel that walks through the 8 questions you should ask before you hire any agent, including me. And that one is worth watching before the first call with any agent, and it's in the playlist.